Hi, I'm Danielle Montgomery, and I am making this video for my community arts class for week 9 of my journal entry. So during this week, I went to go see a comedy show on Friday. Um, it was performed by Trevor Wallace, who is a young comedian. He's mostly known on social media. He's not like super big, like Kevin Hart big, but he's like pretty well known like among young people. He talked about a lot of like stuff that usually relates to young people, of course, since like we're mostly his demographic and he's at like a college. He talked about fraternities, he talked about drinking, talked about smoking, he talked about having relationships with a lot of young women, like when he was in college. He talked about his experience when he was in college. He didn't finish, he dropped out. But anyways, even though he's a comedian, he started out as a theater major and he said he didn't really fit in because like he's kind of like more of a jock, which is like unusual for most like theater like groups to have like someone in it who's not that experienced with theater but more experienced with like sports and like frat culture. But yeah, he ended up dropping out and pursuing comedy as his full time job. Um, it was hosted by the Campus Activity Board um, at the Graduate Hotel. There was a lot of people there, mostly college students, of course. It was actually really packed. Like it was hard to find seating. Some people had to stand, some people had to sit. I feel bad for them, but I was able to find a seat, which was nice. His performance overall was really funny. I believe comedy is art because like you, it makes people laugh. It gets them engaged, and it's like a very hard skill to master. Not many people can be comedians. I probably can't. I'm not really that good at making people laugh. There was this girl who came on before Trevor performed. She was the opening act. She was a student here. She went up and she performed. Um, she wasn't that funny, but it was mostly because well, a lot of people couldn't hear her in the back, but also because I don't know. I just didn't really think any of her like work like her stuff was funny. So I think if you want to do comedy, it's an art, it's a skill that you have to work on and make sure that you can get good results from it. And sadly, it just didn't work out for her. And that's kind of showed how hard it is, especially if you're in a room full of people. Like, it's a lot of pressure, and you have to like keep your composure and still be able to make people laugh. And yeah, she just had a hard time doing that. And I probably would be in the same boat as her if I went up there and started making jokes because my jokes are super bad, they're super dry. Yeah, I couldn't do it. um, but it wasn't really community based art because he was on tour. He was touring around. We weren't the only school that he was going to. I think he was in Detroit the night before. I was going to Detroit. He was also in Colorado, so a few nights before that. Yeah, so he was like going around. It wasn't really work within our community or any community, I guess, in the places he toured, unless you consider the fact that he worked with the campus activity board at the University of Iowa, which is, I guess, community based work a little bit. But I feel like he wasn't really. I guess you can't really say it was community based work because I feel like he wasn't working so much within community, but just like working with like a single part of the community. So yeah, not really community based work. At least not in my opinion. I feel like yeah, to be more community based work, he would have to be working more within the community instead of just a single part. Um, in the future, I think I would like to incorporate some comedy and some humor into my writing. I'm again not that funny, but I think that if I work hard or like I guess practice, maybe take some classes in like comedy writing here. that I could make something or write something, a piece that isn't so serious and that has humor to it, because I feel like when something's very serious, it can be good, but at the same time, it can just get really boring. When there's like comedy and humor involved, it's a lot more interesting and it's a lot more intriguing to the reader. So, yeah, this is my journal entry for week 9. Thank you for listening. Bye.